Hello, welcome. Welcome to live class. We have a full house today, making sure that you have all that you need as you prepare to learn. My name is Jodi Scholes. I'm your instructor, and today we're talking about anatomy and physiology of the cardiovascular system. In school, this would have been maybe 4 hours. It would have been maybe one day of your lecture, but we're going to get to it and get down and dig in deep. So today's class is going to be in 3 parts. The first part is a test-taking strategy. So something to help you be at your best when it comes to taking the test. So how to prepare. The second part is our major part, that's our learning. And then the third part will dissect some questions related to what we've just learned. Now, I want to make mention that in the Online Learning Center, you've got 7 classes and 7 quizzes. With those 7 classes, the quizzes are also related to the topic that you just learned. So that's how the classes and the quizzes work in the Online Learning Center. So just to give you a little heads up, today we're also going to be tackling questions, dissecting questions that relate to the cardiovascular system. All right, but first things first, test taking strategy for you. Nothing new on game day. In fact, to talk about game day, I'm going to put on my game day hat. And so what does nothing new on game day mean? That means do everything you normally do. That means be prepared as if it's game day. So you know the route that you're going to take to the testing center. If you have a chance, if it's not 2 hours away, I suggest you drive there before you're taking the test. Drive there the week before, the day before. Drive there at the time that you're going to be leaving to see what traffic's like. You don't want any surprises on game day. So also, if you're when you're taking the MBLEx, you need to get there a minimum of 30 minutes early. I want to walk you through. You guys, some of you have done this already, but I want to re-emphasize the importance of nothing new on game day. So no new socks, no new clothes. Wear something you're comfortable in. Nothing new, something you can take a picture in. I was just thinking of that because we used to take pictures with the piece of paper, but you don't get a piece of paper anymore. When you take the MBLEx, you are going to see on the computer screen, congratulations, when you finish your test. So there's no more papers. You'll get a paper if you don't pass to guide you as far as what were you low, borderline, and high. But for you guys, you're going to see congratulations right across that computer screen. Yeah. So on game day, have a game plan. What are you eating? Are you driving yourself? Who's driving you? What's the weather going to be? We had one graduate who was taking the test in Tampa, and it just so happened to be on the day the hurricane was scheduled to hit. And her boyfriend drove her because she was concerned about driving. And on the way in, she called the testing center and said, "Look, I just don't think this is safe." And the testing center said, "You will forfeit your fee if you don't come and take the test." For her own safety, she turned around and went home. Yeah. Plus, how are you supposed to concentrate? So that's something really unexpected on game day. Normally, you're not going to see a hurricane or an earthquake or a forest fire, but just have your plan for game day. So I think that pretty much covers. Also, when you pass, just know I'm going to be asking for a picture. I'm going to be asking for a picture of you. So it can be with thumbs up. It can be number 1. It can be arms in the air like victory. It can be peace or victory. But I'm going to be asking for a picture of you because I want to prepare your congratulations post and share it with our community. You'll be seeing congratulations posts regularly on Fridays. We were trying to do it as people were passing, and just do it the same day or the next day, but we've got a schedule now. Tara's keeping me on a schedule. That's a good thing. So, nothing new on game day. Be prepared to take that picture and be prepared to celebrate your success. You ready for a little learning? Let's do it. Let's get to our learning for today. And here we go. Welcome to an introduction to the cardiovascular system, your heart, your blood. So some of these slides were taken from a wonderful SlideShare website called Scribd, C-R-I-B-D, and they have a division of that called SlideShare. So some of these slides are taken from there. Very helpful. This is the cardiovascular system as it relates to massage therapists and to taking the MBLEx. Let's take a look at our objectives. So these are taken also from Massage School Curriculum ELAP, so the core. So we want to define what is the cardiovascular system. We want to know the structure of it. We want to know the function, and that is anatomy and physiology, you guys. Anatomy is the structure. Physiology is the function. So, and we want to describe simply, oh, we're on the wrong slide. Sorry. We're at the end of our series, I think. Oh, well, it's in the beginning. So we're going with it. So when we review the objectives of our lesson, we will have described the simple functions of blood as the primary transportation system. So another objective of the lesson is to understand key terms and concepts that are related to the structure and function and pathologies of the cardiovascular system. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about using your clinical reasoning. So what conditions do we need to be aware of? What clinical reasoning, what common sense do we need to be aware of as far as adaptations for the massage session? So I will create, or Tara will create, a document with these cardiovascular system key terms. We're not covering them all today, but these are terms it would be good to be familiar with. You don't have to have like the perfect definition, but just understand what part of the structure or function that these perform, or are they a pathology? So I did throw in lumen. I had forgotten what lumen meant. And lumen is simply the cavity inside a blood vessel. So it's that cavity. So lumen is that. And then we've got a few more here for you. And like I said, we're going to cover some of these today, but not all of these. So the basic structure of the cardiovascular system, you can see an image here. You've got the heart, which is that pumping mechanism. It's a muscular pump. And then we've got this closed system of blood vessels. So blood vessels is an umbrella term. A vessel can be an artery, a vein, or a capillary. So that we've got the heart, as far as the basic structure. We've got the heart, the arteries, the veins, the capillaries. So the blood vessels, if you will. And sometimes our cardiovascular system is called the circulatory system. Sometimes it's called the vascular or the blood vascular system, but it refers to these particular structures. So the basic function of our cardiovascular system is to transport the blood. And the blood supplies oxygen, nutrients, hydration, water, but also it removes waste products. So our blood is that system. We're going to talk a little bit more about what else what the system does as well. So blood is the primary transport for our nutrients, for hormones, for oxygen, and then also it is the primary transportation for waste products. So the cardiovascular system, as we know, supplies the blood to the rest of the body. And on this side of the screen, you see red. So red represents the oxygen-rich blood. So blood that has gone through the heart to the lungs, gotten oxygen, and is shooting back out that aortic valve, that aorta back into the body. So over here, you see this red blood going back into the body. And the blood goes it helps with the digestive tract. That's where we get our nutrients. So there's nutrients in the blood because of digestion. There's oxygen in the blood because of the lungs. So the blood is transporting all of these different things from the different organs of the body. On the left side, on the left side of the body, you'll see the deoxygenated blood. So when we defrost something, we're letting it thaw, right? Deoxygenated blood, no oxygen in the blood. So it has waste products in it. So this other side here, this blue blood, sometimes called blue blood, is full of things that we've detoxified from the liver. The blue is also, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but it's detoxifying from the kidneys. So it might have uric acid. It's detoxifying from the muscles. It might have lactic acid. So there's all sorts of waste materials in blue blood. Lactic acid gets the big rap, right? From when you're lifting weights and your muscles are sore. Oh, it's a buildup of lactic acid. Well, there's a lot more waste products that happen in the body. Carbon dioxide, another waste product in the body. We breathe out carbon dioxide. We can sometimes move those muscles. Sometimes they say to exercise is actually the best way to take care of sore muscles because we get those muscles moving, and that helps to move those waste products out of the muscle tissue. Well, where does it move to? It moves into the bloodstream, where it is detoxified either through going back through the lungs, through the kidneys, through the liver. These are all organs that take care of waste products in our body, but the blood delivers them. So when we see blue, we know that is blood that is full of a waste product and it's not oxygenated, deoxygenated. So as we can see here, a nice bigger picture of that red. So nutrients coming in from digestion, going through supporting the digestive tracts. The cardiovascular system also transports hormones for the endocrine system. It's crazy, right? You would think that how does the body know what to do? Well, chemicals like hormones or like digestive enzymes are transported through the blood with an innate ability to know where they're going. But again, our look here is at the cardiovascular system as that transportation system throughout the body. All right, let's take a look at the heart. So the heart has 4 chambers. Got a lot of other things going on in there. But the heart itself is about the size of your fist. It's got a right atrium and a left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. We're going to take a look at the pathway of blood through the heart in just a moment. But the superior vena cava or inferior vena cava delivers that blood into the right atrium. You can see you've got walls here of the heart. And we have valves of the heart. Wanted to also mention that we've got layers of the heart wall, and sometimes on the MBLEx, you may see something like epicardium, myocardium. So take a look here. The outer layer, just like our epidermis, epipen, the most outer part of the heart wall is called the epicardium. It's that protective layer. It's there to protect it. The myo means muscles, right? Myocardium, that is the muscular part of the wall that actually produces the pumping, the lobdope, lobdope, lobdope. Yes, the pumping. And then we've got a thin inner layer, the endocardium, that layer here. But there's 3 layers of that heart wall. If you see one of these words, breathe. If you're on the MBLEx and you see one of these words, breathe, dissect the word. And this is a great strategy for any word that you don't understand on the MBLEx. Pull that word apart. What within that word do you recognize? Myocardium. In this case, you may not have understood, but look at cardio, cardiovascular. So there's a sense, okay, this has something to do with the cardiovascular system. We're in the heart region. So use that tool of pulling words apart, seeing what you can recognize. Epi, myo. And then look at all of your answers. I'm going to repeat that. Look at all of your answers to get to the best answer. Good. Okay. Movement of the blood. All right. So we have 2 sides of the heart here. One is in blue or purple, and the other is in red. As I've mentioned, the blue represents deoxygenated blood. So that is blood that is coming back from the body. It's already had its field day, picked up all the waste, and is coming back. And the right atrium is receiving that blood, either the superior or inferior vena cava, boom. And we're going to look at the steps. We're going to walk through the 12 steps here of the pathway of blood through the heart. But I want you to see that the right atrium is getting that blue blood. Now, all this stuff that happens over here on the right side, so right atrium to right ventricle, and then the right ventricle is going to be like, all right, let's get some oxygen in here. We got to send you, going to pitch you right on over to the lungs. Pitching that deoxygenated blood over to the lungs happens through the pulmonary artery. Now, pulmonary means lungs. Pulmonary, remember with CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Now, if you've taken CPR, and many states require that you have an active CPR certificate to be a licensed massage therapist, but remember, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Cardio, compressions, right? To pump the heart manually. Breaths, rescue breaths. Pulmonary, inflate the lungs. Yes. So pulmonary, the pulmonary valve, pulmonary artery, boom, shoots that deoxygenated blood on over to the lungs. Get on gone. And it goes to either the right or the left lung. And then the pulmonary vein brings that back. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go over here. We have some valves in our heart that are a part of this process. And pumps need a valve to keep that fluid flowing in one direction. So a valve simply opens the door and closes it. Usually works only one way. And so from the right atrium to the right ventricle, it opens and then it closes. And I have a little saying, and I'm sure I learned it from probably the registered nurse's website. Um, you try before you buy. So we have a tricuspid and a bicuspid valve. You try before you buy. So over here, blue blood enters that right atrium and it goes through I'm going to try before I buy. It goes through the tricuspid valve down here into the right ventricle. Then it's going to shoot out. Now, shoot out, get to the lungs, come back. I just want to point out here that between the left atrium and the left ventricle is the bicuspid valve. Sometimes it's called the mitral valve as well, the mitral valve. But it's the bicuspid valve. It's on the way out. All right. So here we have it. Here is our pathway of blood through the heart. I wish I could tell you didn't need to know this, but you do, just in case. All right. You're not going to have to list all 12 steps, but you will need to know what's happening in there. Yeah. All right. So blue and red again, right? Making it super straightforward. So the blue represents that blue blood. So coming in through the superior, we're going to go over this twice. In through the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, boom, right atrium. Through the star, that tricuspid valve, shooting out to the lungs. So take a look. Right atrium, tricuspid valve, right ventricle, pulmonary. It does go through the pulmonary valve, and then to the pulmonary, out into the pulmonary artery. So think of the pulmonary valve like horses, right? Horses at a race. So you've got all the horses lined up and they're in that cage and they're just waiting. They're just waiting. That cage is the pulmonary valve. And when our heart pumps, whoop, door goes open, off to the races. The blood goes off to the races to the heart. So in the heart gets oxygenated. There's gases exchanges going on. It's releasing carbon dioxide, taking in oxygen. Once that blood is oxygenated, it's done at the lungs, right? So the pulmonary vein brings it back. Veins, you will see in just a moment, veins are usually full of blue blood. Oh, I have a slide on this. I'll show you. Okay. So we'll point this out again. Pulmonary vein is the way that the blood comes back from the heart. And it enters into the left atrium. And now it's red. Oop, this is one side. Let me go ahead and show you the right side again. We're just doing the right side here, heading off. So off to the lungs before it comes back. So you can see now this blue blood has traveled all the way back to the heart, entering at the right atrium. And if you've ever been to like a fancy hotel, the atrium is usually up at the top, right? And you can look down or you can look out on the gardens, but atriums, both the left and right atriums of our heart are on the top. So that blue blood enters the right atrium. So blue blood, yeah. So that right side is there because it has to get right to the lungs. Right atrium is going right to the lungs before it's going to come back. Here is the left side. So again, that pulmonary vein, it's one of the only two times, we'll point out the other time in a minute, but the only two times that a vein has oxygenated blood. All the rest of the time, veins have blue blood. That's why they're always blue in pictures. The only time now, and technically that blood is leaving the lungs, right? So it is, it is the pulmonary vein. But that pulmonary vein comes right on in to the left atrium. The left, I need the other side on this. So the left atrium, it goes through, let me go back up here. Goes through this bicuspid valve. So pulmonary vein brings this back in to the left atrium. It goes through the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve into the left ventricle. After the left ventricle, it's going to go through one more valve, the aortic valve. And then this up here, this red, this nice blood is going to shoot out the aorta, shoot out that aorta, and go into the rest of the body. Here's that aorta. Whoop. Oxygen-rich blood going back through the body with all the things that we've talked about, the nutrients, the oxygen, the hydration. There's your pathway of blood through the heart. Send me your guess. Send me your answer. Here we go. Veins serve a major role. What do they do? Veins serve a major role. What do they do? A, bring oxygenated blood to the body. B, bring oxygenated blood to the heart. C, bring deoxygenated blood to the lungs. D, bring deoxygenated blood to the heart. Veins serve a major role in our cardiovascular system. What do they do? Now, we're going to get rid of one wrong answer. Veins do not bring oxygenated blood to the heart. All right. Veins serve a major role. What do they do? A, bring oxygenated blood to the body. C, bring deoxygenated blood to the lungs. D, bring deoxygenated blood to the heart. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I like this part. Oh, careful, 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 careful. Candy, hey, you made it, yay. All right, you got it right too. Right, Diane, good. And Miss Paris, you got it. Good. Ms. V, nailed it, weren't tricked. Good. Amanda, good. Brenda, yes. Rachel, yes. Meg, yes. Lisa, you got it. Kiara, yes. Get it, boys? Yep. Brienne, nailed it. Good. Zoom user, yes. Patithia, yes. Good. Best answer? Bring deoxygenated blood to the heart. Be careful. Some of you said it brought deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Nope. Veins go and they dump into that either superior or inferior vena cava. They dump into that vena cava and that dumps into the heart. Yes, careful. All right, next question. All right, yay! We're done. Woohoo! Very good. Very good work on that. So, we took a deeper dive into the cardiovascular system today. Dissected some tricky questions as well. So this recording will be available. So hi, if you're watching later. Hope you guys enjoyed that deeper dive into the cardiovascular system, the anatomy and physiology of the cardiovascular system. Yeah. So I'm going to hang out with this great group of this group of gangs, this group. answer any questions. But my name again is Jodi Scholes. This is the end of the lesson on the cardiovascular system. Looking forward to seeing you again real soon, right here in the Zoom room classroom.